What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Macho Movie Madness.
Oh, yeah.
I'm your host, Brandon. Alongside me always is Chris and Andrew.
Hello. Hey.
Today, we've got a interesting episode ahead of us, and the first podcast we've done, actually, in a little while.
Since number 50, I guess?
Number 50, yeah. That's 52, I think.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't either. I lost count.
Yeah.
Once you get to 50, you're like, whatever.
Yeah. Just another day.
Just another day. Just another day, another dollar that we're not making. Today, we are going to be talking about influential films.
Influenza films?
Influenza films.
Influenza.
For us.
For us. Yeah, some of our favorite, most influential. Some films that have meant so much to us since we were, I don't know, old enough to watch movies, basically, and remember them. And how we're going to do it, there's just too damn many movies, for one. Especially I probably couldn't even tell you my top 10. So what we decided to do is just pick random ones. Some that mean a lot to us, and we decided to do it, and we're trying, there's going to be some stuff we've talked about before here, but we're going to try and keep it a little bit different. I'm picking some different stuff.
No promises.
I'm picking some different stuff. I will be mentioning things that we've talked about before, but I'm trying to pick some different stuff that's also influenced me, or changed me, or whatever. Because everyone pretty well knows most of my stuff. Anybody who's watched the show knows. But we decided to go with different genres and pick one movie and have kind of a round table from each genre. And the categories or the genres we've picked are action, comedy, horror, sci-fi, and western. And if we got time, we can do drama or something too if you guys want to. We're not really drama-oriented here. In Macho Movie Madness. So, we can still talk about it,
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't even know what drama is. Also, children and our favorite children movies.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
And animated movies.
I could definitely do that.
I just made that up. We didn't discuss this at all. Adventure. We didn't include adventure, but we're kind of throwing that to the wayside. That can kind of be included in action.
Nothing can beat Indiana Jones. So.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
What's it matter?
A few other things, but... Well, and the thing is, you're getting into some of these. I mean, some of these movies that we're going to talk about can fit into probably multiple categories anyway.
Sure,
so that's really hard.
Almost all of mine can fit into any category.
Yeah. So I think we better start from the top and let's just go action. And we'll go around the table, I guess, talk about some of our favorite action movies, or at least the ones we picked. We'll start with Chris. What'd you pick?
Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints.
Absolutely. I have the cover to the special edition Blu-ray tattooed on my chest, and
I would say that's influential.
Yeah.
I have Veritas and Aquatus tattooed on me too. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, pretty influential to me.
Not that y'all can see; you can't even see his face.
Exactly, and so we're trying to come up with how, explain how to go about this is what's an influential movie, and that right there. I didn't even think about that shit.
Yeah.
How am I going to word this without sounding really gay? But that's pretty much that right there is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee I've watched
touches your soul.
I guarantee I've watched Boondock Saints over 100 times. I guarantee.
I've got movies like that.
I guarantee.
I've got movies like that.
But no, it's to me. The bad thing is that now that it's popular, because it didn't used to be popular.
Yeah,
we're a cult now.
Yeah, film. But now it's popular, and so that kind of pisses me off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know, there's going to be people that say they like stuff that they don't really. For everything, you know.
Yeah, they hate it or they like it for. Yeah, actually, one of the movies that I might discuss later, I didn't actually put it on my list. It's become overrated over time because of certain groups of people.
Yeah.
So,
but
it's still a truly amazing film.
Yeah, but Boondock Saints, it's all over the place, but it's meant to be it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be chaotic. It's got, you know, most people in the world have seen this movie now, and it's, so you know, it's got super crazy stuff. It's got the great Willem Dafoe, one of the best actors of all time.
Crazy.
And it's got him in drag. And he also has that crazy, you know, he remakes the crime scenes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he tells how they did it. That is awesome. Everything about it's awesome. You know, they got, to me, I can fully understand that. The thing is, this is my favorite movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
That's not an easy thing to say for me, I don't think.
But I can fully understand if someone said, I don't like that movie. It does not make me mad whatsoever.
Right.
Because I completely understand how someone could not like this movie.
Right.
But I love it. So, there you go.
It's been a long time. I need to see it again.
Andrew, favorite action movie, most influential?
My action, horror, and sci-fi, they all, like, I just had to pick one for each because they're interchangeable, really.
Mm-hmm.
Terminator 1 for action. I could easily put it in one of the others. Saw it when I was 5, made such an impact. I love it almost 35 years later.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's got everything. I don't know what all to say about it. Honestly.
What can you that we haven't already? You know. What I mean?
Yeah, we've discussed that one quite a bit. But.
Yeah, and I do love Terminator 2, but I don't think Terminator 2 would be near the movie it is without the first one. You know what I mean?
No, it wouldn't. But that was actually almost mine.
Yeah.
For this, but I went
Yeah,
another direction.
I don't know. I love the heart of the movie, the relationship between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I love the action. I love the horror elements. You know it's your favorite movie when one of the reasons you learn to play guitar is you want to learn how to play Burning in the Third Degree, which I've learned how to play. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
For me, I know we've talked about this movie as well. I almost picked Batman because really that is one of my all-time favorite movies, and that truly is one of the most inspirational movies for me. It changed so much for everything. Everything. The way comic book movies are looked at, the way comic book characters are looked at, the way Batman was looked at to the masses. It changed things for Michael Keaton, for Tim Burton. It changed things for summer blockbuster movies. It sold so much merchandise and toys, and it was just...
still is.
It's just amazing, man. And for me as a kid, I mean, I fell in love with Batman because of this movie. And, you know, I don't know. That's it. To me, that was one, but I didn't want to talk about, we just talked about not too long ago. And I didn't want to talk about Terminator 2 because that's something that is right up there with Batman for me. What I decided to go with is another Schwarzenegger movie, and that's True Lies. And I know we talked about that in the Essential Schwarzenegger podcast too. But True Lies is something that's right up there in the top 5. As Chris said, I might as well pick it because I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Every conversation about movies.
Yeah, or action movie, a
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger movie, whatever. True Lies is always up there. I don't know how many people would agree, but True Lies has got the whole package to me. True Lies is longer. It's actually quite a long movie for what it is, but...
Jim Cameronism right there.
Yeah, it is, and it's James Cameron did it, but it's like 2 movies in one. But the pacing never was off to me.
It's the pacing is great.
There's great lines in it, one-liners. Tom Arnold is the funniest and best he's ever been ever.
You could almost use this as a comedy.
Yeah, you really can.
You
You can use it as a comedy. You can use it action. One of Jamie Lee Curtis and Schwarzenegger's best roles. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is amazing in this. I mean, even all the way up to getting to that main terrorist plot at the towards the later, like, half of the movie or end of the movie. Eliza Dushku's in it, actually. One of her, like, first roles, or maybe, really young. Anyway, just really, really great film. Lot of great memorable scenes, great lines I love to quote. and I don't have a lot more to say about it right now because we got more to talk about, but I really love that movie. And to me, that's one of the best action movies of all time.
Yeah.
So, next, we've got comedy.
Yeah. Me again?
Yeah, go ahead
My
and start it off.
turn? Okay. Mine is McLintock.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know,
Which I find funny because
Yeah.
I would put it in a Western category.
oh no, it's way. There's nothing. The only thing Western about McLintock,
Is
which
the
I mean,
setting.
it is. If you go to buy it, it'll be in the Western section.
Yeah, it's a setting. It's John Wayne.
Yeah, but the only thing Western about it is the setting,
Yeah.
the time
Yeah,
period.
I agree.
Everything else is just full blown comedy. It's
I'll give you that.
it's one of the funniest movies ever been made, and I don't know.
It is really good. And it's one of, if you ask most people what their favorite John Wayne movie is, at least the people I've talked to, most people say McLintock.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Yeah.
Most people,
Most people.
not me.
No, most people.
Yeah, most people. I wouldn't even, Western. John Wayne's going to be on my list twice, but my favorite John Wayne movie isn't even on this list.
Huh.
Yeah. So, and that's for I'll go more into that.
Tell
on
us about
Western.
that later.
I'll go. Yeah. But for McLintock, everything about it's funny. The fight between the young guy and the big guy at the party is one of the funniest parts of a movie I've ever seen. They have the big fight there at the mud pit.
Yeah, and
Where the
everybody
Indian-
gets knocked down.
Yeah,
The mud.
and they keep falling down because it's mud. And then the Indian shows up and he says, "Oh, where the whiskey?"
Yeah. It's stuff that you probably wouldn't. It's definitely something you wouldn't see at this day and age.
Right.
But it's so funny seeing like the men are whipping the women like they're
Yeah.
they're like spanking them
with a
They get out of line.
with a
paddle or whatever. It was
well,
like,
it's a deal for scooping ashes
yeah,
out of a fire.
yeah, just a little bit shovel thing
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that like the young man was beating on his daughter, or not beating. I say beating, but spanking her
Yeah.
for getting a little out of hand. And, she's crying and yelling at her dad, and saying
Yeah.
to John Wayne's character, and he's like,
So John Wayne hands him
yeah, he hands her that.
the
and
ash pan.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he ends up doing it to his own wife at the end.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And it's something that, like I said, you're never going to get away with in this day
Like
and age.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
You can't spank women now.
My absolute favorite line from this movie is when McLintock first comes home at the beginning of the movie. His cook, which is a Chinese guy, is having a fight with John Wayne's number 2 guy on the front steps, and the Chinese guy, he's got the long
Braid.
the long braid because of their religion. He says, "I'll kill myself."
I kill myself.
And his number 2 guy says, "I'll cut your ponytail off. You won't go to heaven." Oh. You say I be one of the family?
Yeah,
It's super.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
today,
super racist.
today it would be super racist,
Yeah.
but back then it was just normal.
Exactly. And that's what's so fun. I'm just really a lot more lax and more offensive than anybody anyway, so it's funny to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just not that big. It's like Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that movie, the reason why it's on this list is because it's the first comedy that I really latched onto as a kid and could actually, my dad watched it all the time. I watch it all the time. And so it influenced my movie watching as I grew up.
Right.
So that's why it's on this list.
Makes sense.
So there you go.
My comedy pick, and we haven't talked about any of their movies, is the Coen Brothers' Big Lebowski. Absolutely just love this movie. It's probably my second favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, we really haven't got a chance to talk about it, but it's just an ordinary guy in a circumstance where he's wrong place, wrong time, mistaken identity.
Yeah.
The whole nine could easily happen to anybody.
Yeah.
His friends are idiots, getting in way over their head.
Yeah.
It just escalates. And that's the way most Coen Brothers movies are.
Yeah.
They just
they follow
they're
a
wild.
formula.
Yeah. Somebody in a situation that anybody could probably get themselves in.
They're serious movies and they're comedies.
It could
they
be a
all
drama.
follow the same.
Yeah, it could be drama too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think this is one I'd like to talk about at length sometime on the podcast.
We need.
I know your brother would like that.
We need to do a Coen Brothers.
Yeah, I know your brother would like that.
Yeah, yeah. I just so many funny parts. I don't even know where to start. The bowling alley scene.
Yeah.
John Turturro. With the. I'm not going to repeat it.
We'll talk about it.
My favorite scene from that movie is when they're going to spread the ashes and it all flies back in his face. Yeah. That's my favorite part. And there's a lot of funny parts, but that just gets me every time.
I just watched the movie with my wife. I can't remember what it was, and they went out to a peak, and I'm like, I think that's the peak from The Big Lebowski where they spread "Shut the fuck up, Donnie's" ashes everywhere. But yeah, great cast, great everything. It's an amazing movie.
I love I can't say any, but I think John Goodman's one of the most underrated actors of all time.
Yeah, and he steals the show in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's great in
He
that.
steals the show a lot in most movies. But anyway.
For me, I picked Naked Gun.
Oh yeah,
comedy.
I'm glad one of us did.
Yeah,
And
somebody had to.
we kind of had a podcast about this.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. It was a terrible podcast because you can't talk in length about comedy. It's so hard
without just laughing about
Well,
it.
you laugh. Well, yeah, you just want to repeat everything in the movie, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, you just want to say lines.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's
And then
hard
snicker.
to. Yeah, it's just hard to do. But I'll just talk about. And there's a lot of other comedies that are influential that I absolutely love. Old and new, anything Mel Brooks, Blazing Saddles, all that stuff is great, and we can talk. And we've talked about that a little bit, but
we need to do a Mel Brooks episode because I got a lot of them. That
I don't think we can because it's going to be just like the comedy stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? But anyway, the reason why I put this on here, and a lot of it comes down to me being younger when I first watched these movies, and my dad. Me and Dad just sit around, watch TV, and watch movies, and there's some things that me and him just absolutely find hilarious, and we can laugh until we're crying and we can't breathe, and everybody gets to laughing at us because we get red in the face, and that's stuff like this, and there's been several other movies like that, but yeah, Naked Gun for me, man. Leslie Nielsen is a genius. He's one of my favorite comedy actors all time. I love slapstick, and for me, he is probably the funniest movie comedian of all time. Yeah, I agree.
And
Just dry as can be.
Yeah.
He's great in Airplane.
The supporting actors. Who would have thought Priscilla Presley would be funny?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. You just never. Yeah, and right before all the shit in the early '90s, mid '90s, you have O.J. Simpson, and everybody in the movie is just absolutely hilarious. Yeah. The whole situation's. I don't know. It's great. And one of my favorite parts of the first one is the Laplander comment.
Yeah.
There's no way for a man to go, getting caught in the gears of a combine, or getting your nuts bit off by a Laplander. That's how I want to go. That's one of the funniest, things ever. But anyway, that's mine. And, I don't know, just a lot of it just boils down to me being young and watching with my dad and having a good time with that.
Yeah.
So, moving on to horror.
All right. Mine is The Shining.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
pick.
the...
Stephen King wouldn't approve.
Well, but I don't like him.
Kubrick might. I know you.
See, I like his body of work for the most part.
It's one of his
The
favorites.
man himself is a douche canoe.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Sorry, JK, but
Oh no, he is. I mean, it's just common knowledge now.
Yeah,
the man himself, his body of work is fantastic.
I think he's kind of a creep too.
He is. But his body of work is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's just that he himself
Mostly.
is a douche canoe. Yeah, mostly. I would say mostly because there's a lot of.
Man. I actually never did watch the TV movie of that was supposedly supposed to be closer, but
Oh, I did.
Was it good,
Dude, I don't remember when it came out, like mid to late 90s, I think. And my grandma watched it all the time. She taped it and watched it all the time. And it was dark.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, cinematography wise, it was dark.
Yeah.
And so that You add the story of The Shining to that, and it's
I need to
scary.
find a way to watch that.
What was that? What was the name of it? American Gothic?
I don't know. I need to find a way to watch that
Because it wasn't called The Shining.
But The Shining was
Yes.
wow,
Yeah,
screwed
one of
up,
the most terrifying movies.
just
of all
screwed
time.
up.
Yeah.
And that for me
It's
though,
all mental.
it is. But for me, like that kind of falls in line with The Exorcist,
Yeah.
where they're such influential movies in the horror genre. But like to me now, they're not even close to scary.
Yeah.
I think they were when I was a kid, and I could see how
it's not
influential.
scary now.
Yeah, but it's just the product of it. We're so desensitized to everything too.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Well,
But psychological stuff gets to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's way different than even, I mean, like, Exorcist just did the 70s was shock value.
Yes.
It was shock value. And today's shock value is Human Centipede.
Yes.
And bullshit like that, which is just garbage.
Yeah, garbage.
It's just garbage shock value. But anyway, I don't know. I completely agree. I think Shining's one of the best. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
And it's another
For an
one.
old school horror. And I mean, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it starts unraveling at the end, that's
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the music, like when she's flipping through the pages and everything's the same, you know,
yeah.
All work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. And, you know, he comes out and, oh man, he's just slowly following her up the stairs, telling he's going to bash her brains in. And man, that's just,
See, and that doesn't get me.
I believe he's like that in real life.
What the kid sees. What the kid sees is the scariest shit for me, you know, like looking in the rooms and stuff.
Well, Shelley Duvall had some. She walked in on some.
Oh yeah,
she
did.
She had
seen
some weird stuff. Yeah,
she had a terrible time filming it too.
Oh yeah, they put her through hell.
Yeah, Kubrick. They said Kubrick.
She's like borderline insane now.
Yeah, he actually abused her. He abused her
supposedly,
on set. To keep her frazzled. Yeah, to keep her manic. But no, it's another one.
That'd been terrible.
The reason why it's on my list is I watched it with my grandma all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could say the same for Halloween, but we've talked about Halloween so much that I figured I needed to get another one. And that's
how I felt.
She actually watched The Shining probably more.
Really?
Just because she loves psychological stuff like that.
Yeah. What about you, Andrew? What do you got?
Well, as much as I wanted to pick Alien, I like Aliens that much more.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as scary, but
I feel like that's a sci-fi.
Yeah,
action.
or it could be an action movie.
Yeah, right.
But there's a lot of horror elements.
It's kind of like what Terminator 2 went to.
Yeah,
you know, in a way.
I really love Aliens. Sigourney Weaver. That's just like. As much as you can say Alien put her on the map, when I think Sigourney Weaver, I think Aliens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's so it's got that blue lighting. Jim Cameron, man, everything he touched at that point in his career was just
gold.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Another one of my favorite movies. I just went down my list of my favorite movies, and they just fit in all these categories.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. The stuff they did with the animatronics, with the Queen, and everything.
I agree.
The tunnels and
oozing.
Yeah,
the oozing is what gets me in Aliens because there's so much. I don't know. I mean, I guess you'd say saliva, but not really because it's just everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Dripping.
Just everything dripping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what's his face? Bill Paxton just sells everything so well. He's your subconscious in this movie.
Game over, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you're kind of living it through
as he is in almost every movie.
Right,
that he's in seems like. Just sucks out.
Some really good acting. I think everybody thinks Alien is the better movie. Maybe it is.
Maybe horror wise, like if you want to go what?
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a versus. Honestly,
yeah, we could, absolutely
on down the road.
I think we should,
but might make some people mad. But that would definitely be a hard one. But as far as horror, I had to go Aliens, just because I enjoy it just a little bit more.
For me, like Chris said, I would pick Halloween over anything else. It's mine. We've talked about it a million damn times. Halloween 2 even more specifically, just because it was like my first Halloween movie. And I just remember sitting in the dark being creeped out. I decided to go another direction, and Scream was another one too. We just talked about that recently.
Yeah.
But I went with Jaws. And the reason why is I
feel that.
I mean, Jaws at the time was pretty damn creepy. It was very, revolutionary, I think. And what's crazy is the animatronics, like Shark, I guess, didn't work like most of the time.
Right.
And they had a lot of trouble with that. But I think like Spielberg and them, they just pulled out such a masterpiece of a movie, and the music and everything else. I just remember, I know that I watched this for some damn reason. I was able to watch this before I was 6 because we went to Florida for a family vacation, and that was the last time I'd been. But I remember being scared of the ocean and of Jaws by the time I went at 6. So and that's just one of those things that's something that sits with you forever or for a long, long time and really mentally fucks you up.
Yeah.
And that's something Jaws did, and just watching him, like, engulf like people almost whole, and it was just, I don't know, it was just messed up for the time.
was scared of Jaws before I even watched Jaws.
Yeah. It was just such a, and of course as you get older, you watch it, the scare factor kind of goes away, but the film itself is still very solid.
Yeah. It's scary enough when he's carrying people off the beach and stuff and everything.
Oh, yeah, it's intense.
But Robert Shaw's portrayal of Quint,
Yeah.
Yes.
telling everybody, about shark attacks and stuff makes it even more for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought between him and, what's his name? The lead actor.
Roy Scheider.
Roy Schneider. Yeah, Roy Scheider. And then Richard Dreyfuss. I thought all of them balanced each other very well.
Yeah.
You had like the serious, protagonist, and then you had kind of the goofball guy, and then you had the real serious asshole.
Yeah.
I thought it was really nice. Anyway, great movie. Definitely one of the best films from my childhood. Fucked me up for a while. Moving on from horror to sci-fi.
All right. I wrote down Star Wars because it probably is. It's probably the first influential sci-fi movie that I remember watching. But then I got to thinking, The Princess Bride is probably. It's probably the most influential sci-fi movie, and I know most people wouldn't say that it's sci-fi, but it absolutely.
I would
is.
put that in comedy or adventure.
Oh yeah, I mean you could,
Yeah.
you could,
Yeah.
but it is. I mean, it's got drag. It's got a.
I mean, you could fantasy.
Yeah,
it's fantasy.
It's fantasy. That's what I was. That's
Really,
the word
it
I
comes
was
down
looking
to-
for is fantasy.
It really comes down to who you are and how you want to categorize it.
Exactly. It's I would say that it's
Princess
fantasy.
Bride is.
But we don't have a fantasy category, so. But either one, you could throw that up in the air.
I do quote that movie quite
Either
a bit.
one. Yeah. Either one doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You go with either one of them. They're probably both.
Star Wars is a very
They're probably both cheap picks. You know what I mean?
well. I
but
don't.
they
know.
are the
Very
first.
influential.
They're the first two influential sci-fi-ish movies that I remember.
I
ever
could
watching.
Star Wars definitely. I could definitely see Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars is just phenomenal.
Dan O'Bannon said that his Alien script only ever got greenlit because Star Wars happened, and his script had a spaceship and it was sitting on a guy's desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you
Isn't
go.
that crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
What-
believe it.
What do you got for sci-fi?
I'm going Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys
I figured.
probably-
For real?
Well, you got anything else besides Blade Runner?
Nah.
Besides Blade Runner, well, it would fit like in several different categories. I love Escape from New York.
Yeah,
Okay.
True.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
True.
And I because I thought about that earlier. I'm like, man, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, either one of those.
Escape from
And
New York's truly amazing.
I would like to talk about Blade Runner sometime, whether it would be by itself or in a versus with the new Blade Runner or whatever. Really good as far as dystopian futures and stuff, and that's the kind of sci-fi that I like.
I do too.
And
Well,
it's-
Escape from New York's really amazing.
Yeah, it's got everything.
Yeah.
Either one of those, my picks. But yeah, I'd go Blade Runner over Escape from New York.
Cool. I kind of figured as much, though.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's totally out of left.
Oh, yeah. Chris
I had no idea.
Chris is super
I
surprised.
had no idea.
I went with They Live. I almost picked Matrix. That's probably a close second. And they both kind of have a similar theme. It's about, subliminal, not so much subliminal messages, but, being red pilled or, waking up from some other entity that's controlling you or and that's something that I have always loved. People have always been, into, even since the dawn of the internet has, everything changed. And then They Live was before that. You had sunglasses that you're seeing these subliminal messages from this alien, class of people. That's, I don't know. I think not just because of the lines and because Roddy Piper's just such a cool character, like a presence in any movie he's in.
Yeah.
There's just the whole thing, the whole story, the whole idea around They Live is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it did it first, it did it before The Matrix did it. But Matrix is a close second.
Yeah. All right.
So.
All right. On to Western, which we haven't really talked about on the channel.
No.
But I wish we could do more because I love Westerns. I've probably watched more Westerns than I have anything else.
Yeah.
But my number one is Big Jake, and which I don't know how many people have seen this, but it's John Wayne is an estranged father, and his some people attack his family's house, and they he's got some money, so they kidnap his grandson. So he comes back home to go get him, and takes his boys with him, and his crew, his posse or whatever. Nah, they're not a posse, but they kind of are a posse. But it's fantastic. It takes place at the turn of when it's like the early 1900s. So like he's constantly fighting with his youngest son, because his youngest son shows up on a motorcycle, and he's got like a semi-automatic pistol and shit. It's very they're constantly fighting, but it's an amazing movie. It's just, I wore it out, man. As a kid, I wore that movie out big time. And it's not even my favorite John Wayne movie, but it's the first. That's the first movie I remember ever wearing out a tape of.
Really?
So
it's funny. As much as I watched a bunch of stuff, I don't think I've ever worn out a tape. I broke a couple just because those things will tendency you'll pull them out, and it would always catch, and then you pull the. Oh man, it pissed me off.
Now, what is your favorite John Wayne movie?
The Shootist.
Okay.
Really?
It was his last Western. It's got probably the most realistic gunfight of any Western ever to take place. It's dirty, it's gritty. Like he's old, and his character's old too, and he's got prostate cancer, and he's trying to just ease his way to death, and people keep coming for him because he's a famous gunslinger, and so people will show up. And, but it doesn't really actually have much action till the end. And then at the very end, he goes and meets all these people that came to town to kill him. He just, they clear out the bar. He goes in, they're all in there. He goes in, and they just kill each other. Like it's an awesome gunfight. But no, that wasn't that influential to me until later on.
Right.
Where Big Jake has been influential as long as I can remember. Like, I can't remember.
Well, it's kind of like with me and They Live. I mean, I literally just watched They Live, all of it, for the first time in the last year.
Yeah.
So.
But, I don't know. Anyway. Big Jake. I think everybody should watch Big Jake. It's awesome. It's funny. Because it's got parts with him and his kids fighting. and like the one calls him daddy, and it pisses him off, so he'll they just beat the shit out of each other, and then the one kid keeps riding his motorcycle up there. They got a skittish mule, and so the motorcycle scares it, and it flings all their shit all over the place all the time. But then it's got awesome action too, and it's sad. There's a lot of sad parts. It's really well rounded. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's awesome.
Yeah. What do you got?
When I think Western, I think Lonesome Dove, but that's kind of cheating because it's like 6 hours long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I should say that, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, just
it's amazing.
Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
But
especially Tommy Lee Jones.
I mean, I don't feel like I need to say anything, but if I had to pick like an actual
a different
one, it would probably be Unforgiven.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
With Clint Eastwood. You're told the entire movie he's this badass and he's getting beat up, and you don't see it until that last scene.
Yeah.
And that last scene in the bar's one of my favorite scenes ever.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about mine, and because I picked Tombstone, and everybody likes Tombstone.
Yeah.
So I hate to pick Tombstone, but it is truly amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, other than like Heat and maybe another film, like this is one of my favorite Val Kilmer roles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh, for sure. I don't think there's when I think Val Kilmer, I think
Tombstone.
Yeah. I don't think that this was to me, it was the very peak of him, and he could never do better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, almost. He did MacGruber. That was pretty good.
Oh, he was funny in MacGruber.
He was funny. No, Tombstone is truly. I mean, it's got everybody you'd ever want. In the movie. Yeah. I mean, Sam Elliott. And Kurt Russell, one of the best actors and greatest people of all time.
Of our time. Yes.
Yeah, of our time.
Of any time.
Tombstone 100% needs to be watched if you haven't watched it already. I'm assuming everybody already has. If you haven't, you ain't living.
Yeah.
You haven't lived.
No.
Just do it. Yeah. It might turn you on to Westerns.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's a lot of good in Westerns that a lot of people overlook because they don't.
My second favorite's Back to the Future Part 3. No, I'm just kidding.
Because they don't connect to them because they can't relate.
And
but they could if they just watched them. They could.
What people also might find a connection in, if they think about it, is if they like Carpenter, you probably like Westerns. Because he's a big fan. I mean, Big Trouble in Little China. I even think that Escape from New York's very Western.
They Live. Stranger.
They Live. They Live is very, very Westerny.
Yep.
So I mean,
if it wasn't for
Westerns have the basic structure that a lot of movies
Assault
have.
on Precinct 13 is a loose. What am I trying to say? Of Rio Bravo.
Yeah, right.
Basically the same.
Which
movie.
Is an amazing movie.
Well, he wanted to make spaghetti westerns, but the time was done.
Yeah. If you guys out there listening want to hear us talk about westerns, let us know.
Please.
Because we would like to,
Please.
but we just don't think there's enough people out there who would listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's so many that I could talk about.
And if there's specific ones, then definitely let us know, because at least we'll have something that you want us to talk about.
Right.
I can imagine somebody out there wants to hear me ramble for 30 minutes about Silverado.
Nobody wants to hear you ramble.
I guarantee it.
Real quick, let's go ahead and do drama. We didn't do drama.
Drama?
You think
Sin of a Woman, baby.
Sin of a Woman.
All day, every day.
Just because.
Shit gets to me, man.
I know.
Gives me chills. Gets me all...
Hoo-wah.
Yeah.
Hoo-wah.
His speech at the end.
Hey, I'm telling you what, Sin of a Woman's a very good
dude,
movie.
his speech at the end, man, fucking gets me every time. Can't help it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm really not sure. Can I choose Heat?
You can choose whatever you want. This is our
it's suspense drama.
I
action.
hadn't thought about this, and I'm kind of on the spot. It's definitely a drama. There's a lot of dramatic stuff going on.
His is Clueless.
That's a comedy, Chris. It's a comedy.
It's a documentary.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually sitting here thinking about this while you guys were rambling on about other shit. I was thinking Forrest Gump earlier. I told you guys that. And then I end up picking Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
And I think Dirty Harry's an amazing film. It's a great drama. But I've changed my mind again.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to put Scarface in there.
Yeah.
And I think Scarface is more of a drama than anything else anyway,
I would
basically.
say that.
So Scarface
Crime
is 100% my favorite drama film of all time. And I like those other two, but Scarface is it. And that was one I was talking about earlier that's kind of almost become a little bit overrated because of rappers and, other people who probably haven't even fucking seen the film or don't understand the film. Some of them do. But it truly is one of the best gangster films of all time.
Yeah, it is.
Of all time. Realistic. The music's amazing. Not just the soundtrack, but the score. Al Pacino's best role. I'd say Scent of a Woman's up there, actually. And then, some of his Godfather stuff's good. But definitely his best role. Michelle Pfeiffer was great in it. All the supporting cast was great in it. I don't know, it's just out of this world. And it's one of those, like back in the day where you didn't have a good ending. And it kind of makes you conflicted because by the end you root for him. You want him to be, he's a good guy to you, but he's not a good guy.
No. Yeah.
You want him to live, but, just.
Yeah. I love everything about Scarface.
All that comes to an end.
Except the stuff with his sister. That's the only thing I hate about Scarface.
That was a little
bit.
You
wanna fuck me, Tony?
That was too much because he did have a weird obsession with his sister. Just overprotective of his sister. It's kind of weird.
I think he did want to fuck his sister.
Maybe he did. I don't know.
He did.
Maybe he did. I don't like to think about that. It's weird.
I mean, I don't either.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it still is one of the best films despite that.
It is.
So.
It hooked me from the chainsaw.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were just about out of time.
Got this scar eating pussy.
Hell yeah. We're just about out of time. You guys want to wrap it up with any closing thoughts? You got anything else to say?
I don't know.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah. Take your vitamins, drink your milk.
Yeah. Yeah. Say your prayers.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for our episode today. Those are some of our most influential films. There's plenty more out there to talk about. We might do another one of these episodes later. Just depends.
Yeah, we should.
There's a lot more to talk about. Yeah. And you guys let us know, comments below, what you guys think, what's some of your best, most influential films. And we will see you all next time.
See you.
Bye.